Westplex 107.1, I Miss Me More. It's one of those woman independent songs that Shelley keeps telling me, I don't want those kind of songs on the radio. Don't put them on there.
That's not what I say. I happen to like that song. It's about a woman getting lost in a man and sitting there and changing everything for him, and that still wasn't good enough. So that just lets us know that we don't need to change ourselves to make somebody else happy.
Wow.
They either like us for us or they don't.
It's Dr. Shelley on the radio this morning.
It's my philosophy. Stop it.
It's Dr. Shelley. Hey, call in with
that's me, Dr.
Call in
Shelley.
with your romantic problems, and Dr. Shelley will help you out, and she'll put you in the right direction. It's Dr. Shelley every Friday morning on
I
Westplex
should have a
106.
podcast.
Yeah, right. Well, you
Oh
already.
my gosh.
You do have a podcast. It's called BS in the Morning Show.
I could become a life coach and have a podcast.
You and 5 million other people are life coaches.
Yes, I know.
Remember there was a day when in the chamber when if you sat at a table with 8, 9, or 7 of them were life coaches?
Is that true?
No, I was sort of kidding. I'm being a little facetious, but everybody was a life coach for a while.
Everybody is a life coach for a while.
Well, here's the life coach I want. I want like Mark Cuban to be my life coach.
Who's that?
You don't know who Mark Cuban is? Come on, that's right. You just you don't use anything but Facebook, and that way you wouldn't know who he was. Mark Cuban.
Now I bet you anything, because Facebook is so creepy, that I will start getting sponsors from Mark Cuban.
Well, Mark Cuban
Sponsorship ad.
Mark Cuban is a billionaire, owns the Dallas Mavericks, is on Shark Tank. He's one of the sharks on Shark Tank.
I know them.
Yeah, Mark Cuban.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and has at times said he's going to run for president. Doesn't like Trump. Interesting guy. I mean, interesting in his past is that he put himself through college by being a dance instructor. He sold T-shirts. I think he DJ'd bars. I mean, he did a little bit of everything to put himself through college. But then how he ultimately made his fortune was he was in our industry. He ran a company called Broadcast.com. We talked about this before. And the company was bought by Yahoo for, I don't know, $4 or $5 billion, and then they didn't know what to do with it, and they just closed it down. I mean, imagine having the kind of money where you pay somebody like billions of dollars, and then you go, I don't know if we want to do anything with it or not. Let's just shut it down. And they did.
People do that.
Well, crazy. Crazy stuff. Well. Is your house still on its foundation? It hasn't floated away yet, Shelley?
Not yet, but we're high.
Man, but
we're on high land.
Were you out and about last night?
I was.
Oh, rain. Some of the rain was intense.
No, I actually, oh my gosh, let me write that down. Hold on.
Write what down? The thing we talked about this morning.
Yeah, I have to write that down so I don't forget. So I actually was home before the rain started.
Yeah.
And so I really didn't experience any of that.
Well,
but I'm sure it was intense. But what I was going to tell you, what that brought into my stream of consciousness, is the weather wizards of Weldon Springs.
Yeah.
Are giving. I guess they're having 3 meetings for people that want to become storm trackers.
Oh yeah. There's quite a few of those around. Yeah, they teach you.
They're happening. But here in St. Charles, there's one in St. Peter's.
Yeah.
There's another one on February 1st, which I'm really thinking about going to.
Oh man, you'd make a great storm tracker. You have to get the gear.
Wouldn't I be a cute little weather bunny?
Oh no, you have to get the gear. You have to get the the goulashes. You can't just get like waders. You have to actually officially called goulashes.
I'm okay with that. I actually have steel-toed shoes.
Right,
so
and then you have to
I'm okay with that as long as they have a nice heel.
Well, you have to get the hard hat that has the lightning spike on it, and then you have the big cord that goes down from there, and it has a big clamp, like a big alligator clamp that when you're out and about, you have to clamp it onto like a fence and things like that. You didn't know about that, did you?
I missed that part.
Oh no, seriously.
I'll find that out on February 1st.
Seriously, and then you have to get the rope. They require at least 100 feet of rope, so you tie yourself off to something when you're out there, in the tornadoes. And then of course you have to have in the summer where they do the UV index. The weather watchers on the days where it's sunny, you have to lay out in the sun all day long naked And then at the end of the day, depending upon how many blisters you have, that's what you could determine would be the sun factor. You know what I'm saying?
I can't do that because I'm not a member of the 40-acre club.
Well, you don't have to be. You see, they've got special permissions. So you do that when you get the weather watches, right? You didn't know about all that, did you?
No, thank you for that, Brad. I'm enlightened now.
That's why they have trouble finding, storm trackers because who wants to go around with that goofy, hard hat with the lightning rod on the top with the the grounding cable that you have to tie yourself. You have to hook up to something that's grounded. I mean, a lot of times you can't find something that's grounded. It's tough.
Yeah.
And what they do is now what they're doing is I wonder if Caleb's gotten into this. They actually hire electricians to go around with the storm watchers, and then they bring out their little gear to test good grounds, and they say, okay, you can clamp right here. So you'd be in a team. It would be you and one of Caleb's electricians who would bring out his meter, would check for ground resistance, and that way, with your hard hat with the lightning rod on the top, then you would know if you had a good ground. So if the lightning hit you in the head, it would just go to ground. It wouldn't hurt you.
Okay. No. I know that you're teasing, so stop it.
Are you saying it's BS?
Yes.
Oh, you are so wrong. Weather today, we are still under I don't know if they've declared it like a warning now. It's a flash flood watch. I do believe it still is a watch. I'll check in a minute. Rain today. Believe it or not, it's 54 right now. It's supposed to get up to 61. And then, get this, on Sunday, or Saturday, tomorrow the high is going to be 42.
Supposed to have snow.
Yeah, crazy. And then Sunday morning, it's supposed to be in the 20s. And then Sunday, the high is going to be about 42. So, and then get this, Monday, 50, Tuesday, 58, Wednesday, 60. Is that bizarre? What?
Isn't it true that tornadoes start when there's cold and warm and they collide?
Well, yeah, when they're drastic, that's part of it.
Isn't this?
Yeah. Well, because
in Oklahoma City, this would be considered tornado season.
I don't know. Well, I don't think this is tornado season for them. Tornado season is usually in the spring. But yeah, remember we had that tornado. How many years ago was it? That was on New Year's Eve that hit Sunset Hills and Crestwood and places like that. Remember that?
Yeah.
That was on
so
New Year's Eve.
It may not be the spring, but this is sure spring weather.
Well, it's been warm for a while. That's the only thing, and normally it goes the other way. Normally it's like when it's cool and then it gets hot. It depends. We should call the weather wizards of Waldron Spring and ask them and see what they say. What do you think? No? Yes?
I'll find out on February 1st because I'm going to go.
You're going to go.
I want to have letters behind my name.
Like DB?
Like I want to get, okay, do not say any letters.
DB.
Excuse me?
DB. That's what they'd give you.
You know what? You need to take that back.
I need to. What's wrong with DB? That's like an MD. A DB is like almost as good as an MD. A DB, you can perform.
So what does it stand for?
DB, you can perform surgery on muskrats.
What does DB stand for, Brad?
Well, what do you mean? What does it stand for?
What does it stand for? It has to stand for something.
Daring and beautiful.
Good catch, Brad. Oh, look, it's 7-Eleven. Excuse me, 6-11.
7-11. No, try 612. We'll try that.
Okay.
Westplex 107.1, Over My Head. I play that because that's Shelley's favorite song, because that's what she normally says to everything. Hey, Shelley, what's 2 + 2? Oh, that's Over My Head.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't number.
You're going to let me get away with making fun of you?
Yeah, I don't number. I just don't. Ugh. You sat there and you recorded this, didn't you? Of course. Okay, I'm done. Stop it. You were such a man-child. Stop it. I like that one.
That's Sweet Brown. That's on the blooper reel Hall of Fame from the TV newscasts. There is some funny stuff on there. I mean, I told you, I watch that every month. There's the guy News Be Funny, and every month he does a recap of all the ones. And oh my God, some of the funniest ones are this news or their anchor team. It's a guy and a gal and from Australia, and it's the Today Show in Australia, and they are super funny. Boy, have you seen all the stuff going on in Australia with all the fires and everything down there? Holy cow!
Yeah, I haven't seen them.
Oh my God! Terrible situation.
I hear they're pretty. I hear they're pretty intense.
Yeah, and you know what though, and I have to admit, here we go once again. I don't know if he's the president or what he is of the premier or whatever of Australia. Can't remember what his official title is. He's the head honcho down there. Okay, and when these fires started, he was on vacation in Hawaii. Okay, now first off, I'm thinking to myself, don't know about that. You know, if you're saying that, and you know, Australia, you know, pitches itself as a tourist destination. They'd make a lot of money off of tourism. If you're the head guy in Australia, would you want to be vacationing in another country? You know what I mean? It doesn't sort of say like, hey, even though we're like it would be like somebody from Florida saying, well, you know what? I get tired of Florida. I'm going to go vacation in Minneapolis. You go like, huh? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Anyway, he took grief over that he was there, and I think he finally came home early from his vacation. But here's my deal. This is what I don't like about all politicians, including Trump, okay? You're doing it for 4 years.
What's
okay?
that?
No, you're doing it for 4 years. Who knows if Trump's going to get reelected or not? He's in there for 4. Let's figure he doesn't get reelected, okay? To me, 365, 24/7. I mean, you should be on that job, working it every single day, 365 days a year, no weekends off, no playing golf. You know, it was sort of funny because Trump made fun of Obama playing golf all the time. What does Trump do? He plays golf. You know, and matter of fact, he even moved his official residence down to Florida. Part of that was he just was sick and tired of what was going on in New York. But, work the job. It's like how many business owners, live their business 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Does that sound like anybody you know? But
sounds like us, actually.
Well, the idea being is that and then I told you there was that. I saw that thing where there's an organization that they were off for 2 weeks over the Christmas holidays, and now they're off for a couple days for staff training. I'm going like, couldn't you train them like over Christmas? Oh no, we can't do that. We have to have that time off. Okay, whatever. I'm scratching my head. Scratching my head.
Hey, how long do we have to talk?
20 seconds. Go ahead.
Well, mine's going to be more than 20 seconds because I want to talk about how I got ran off the road yesterday.
Shelley ran off the road, and it was the Joy 99 van that ran her off the road.
No, I couldn't see if they had any stickers. I was too concerned about getting off the road. Yeah.
We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
We'll talk. And then the 7:06 break, which is about 40 minutes from now, I will tell the story of how Shelley gave me the world's best advice, and I followed it. And man, am I glad I did.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Man, am I glad I did. I mean, it was to the point where I thought to myself, man, this gal is on top of it. I mean, talking about giving a referral or, advice. I mean, there's all people, everybody knows somebody that you can call them up and say, hey, if I were going to do this, what would you do? And, well, if I do this, of course. Okay, thanks. And then you go do it. That's Shelley. Shelley's one of those people. You can call her morning, noon, and night, and you can say to her, Shelley, I'm going fishing, and I've got the choice of one of these new, one of the older fiberglass reels, rod and reel, or one of the new, carbon fiber rods. And, tell me what you think. And she, the whiplash factor on the carbon fiber rod is 6.2 to 3, and the fiberglass rod is only 4.6 to 2, and I would definitely go with the carbon fiber. Thanks, Shelley.
Uh-huh. Why do I think this is going to come back and bite me?
I don't have the slightest idea. Okay, it's 6:25.
Uh-huh.
Westplex 107.1, happy, 6:35. It is BS in the Morning. I am Shelley. She is Brad. Is that correct? Did I get it right?
That's close enough.
I did.
For government work.
BS in the Morning is our website. Westplex1071 is our, what did I say? I said bsinthemorning.show. I sound like Joe Biden, didn't I? Just text me at, no, never
Well,
mind.
you do that all the time.
Sound like Joe Biden?
No, just say text me at blah, 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 blah.
Well, but the running joke was that when it won the debates, he didn't realize that was a text number, and he gave it out like as a website. He said, go to 320, and people were going like, huh? What was
I
that?
wonder how many people texted that number.
Well, no. He said it like it was a website. I don't think he understood. You know, I don't want to make fun of people, but, you know, there are certain people that aren't with it. You know what I'm saying?
That aren't trendy and
Well,
up to date? Is that what you're saying?
It's like if you see somebody nowadays with a flip phone, it's sort of like, okay. And
Don't be judging people with a jitterbug, Brad.
Well, but once again, it's to the point where, you know, here's the problem with that is that you can go anywhere and buy a smartphone nowadays, but it's really hard to find a flip phone. You got to work real hard to get that flip phone, you know? So it's like, so take the path of least resistance, you know? But I get it. Some people are like, and I think it was sort of like, you know, people like this. I mean, my mom was like that. She was like, oh, I don't understand that. You know, and she just like, and the interesting thing for me was she was an educator. And I always thought to myself, educators like, I'm going to learn that. No, she was like, oh, I don't understand it. No, I don't.
You mean electronics?
A lot of things. She was just like, you know, she didn't care. She was like, didn't know anything about it. Like, could care less.
Well, my daddy ran a corporation
Yeah.
with a four-figure calculator and IBM Selectric.
But that was back in the day. It's just like I had a meeting with an accountant the other day, and they were talking about how, and they've been at it for a while, they're CPA, and they're retired now. They're talking about they use the old columnar pads. Remember those? The green,
Yes, I do.
The green pads that had
So
all
did he.
the columns. Yeah, well, that's the way you did things. I mean, because
Yes.
there were, unless you worked for like IBM or some big monstrous corporation like you know, McDonald back in the day, there were no computers. Everything was done, you know, on calc. I mean, it used to be that if you look in the one ads for you know, for people like, you know, office assistants or people like that, one of the requirements was know how to operate, what is it, a 10-button calculator or whatever they called it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You know, I mean, that was one of the
Yes.
requirements. And to the point you go like, who in the world would even ask that nowadays? I mean, that would be like saying, you know, you have to be able to sharpen a stone and make it into an arrowhead so you can go out and kill some you know, some animals so we can eat lunch at the office. It's like, what? You know, hey, by the way, I don't mean, you know, sometimes things happen to me and I get, I'll be honest with you, a little aggravated when I go into certain places. And I was working at the office last night, and I've got a couple printers, and my one printer all of a sudden didn't print. I go, okay, what's wrong? Well, it's out of paper. And I thought it's one of these big office kind of
Turn
printers.
it off and on?
No, it was out of paper.
No, just off and on.
No, it was out of paper. That's what I did.
Oh,
I
okay.
looked, I pulled the drawer, the paper drawer out. Oh, no paper. That's why it's out. You know, I didn't even look at the display. It just all of a sudden wouldn't print. I thought to myself, oh, what's that? So I just pulled the paper drawer. No paper. And this is one of these big printers. It's on like a, you know, a stand. It's got like wheels on the bottom, and the bottom section of it is storage for paper. And, you know, I put a couple reams in there and, you know, buy paper and stick it in there. Well, I open up the storage compartment, no paper. I go, man, I'm almost out of paper. Because my other printer has like maybe about 20 or 30 sheets in it. I had a lot of stuff I had to print last night. So I went to a store which will remain nameless, Office Max, and I walked in the door. Nice guy greeted me, and he says, can I help you? I go, yeah, I'm looking for some paper. He says, you want like a ream? I go, yeah, I want one ream. Well, we got 2 reams for $12. I go, I just want 1 ream. Because I was, you know, I'm going to buy a box of it, you know, big box. But I said, I just need to get some stuff done tonight. And he says, well, it's 2 for $12 or 1 for $10. And I go, so that's the cheapest paper you have in the store? 1 ream for like $10? And he goes, yeah. And I go, I'm going to go back and look. Oh, you won't find anything. That's cheapest deal right here. 2 for 10 or 2 for 12 or 1 for 10. Okay, fine. So I go back in the back and I'm thinking to myself, man, this place is expensive. You know, he wasn't kidding. Like the cheapest reams of paper there were like $13, $14. And that was like just for plain old white paper bond, you know. So I'm going, I know some place I can get it cheaper. So I
Why
start.
didn't you just? It costs you more money to go and just buy the 2 reams of paper for $12.
Listen to the rest of my story.
Oh,
So as
okay,
I'm
I'm sorry.
walking out, he says to me, he says, couldn't find anything? And he's got something behind his back. And I go, no. And he goes, oh, I found this for you. It's 300 pieces. You know, a normal ream of paper is we got like 500 sheets of paper in it, you know. And he says, it's 300 sheets of paper for $2.95. And I'm going like, why didn't you tell me that when I walked in the door? You know, because I would have said, great, I'll take it. 300 pages will last me for 3, 4, 5 days. Take it. And I'm going like, okay, I don't believe he did that. He knew darn well there was other paper in the store, but, you know, it's to the point where he's thinking like, well, I'm going to get this guy to buy the 2 reams for $12. And I'm going like, no, don't want to spend $12. I want to spend like $5 or $6 for, you know, a ream of paper.
So basically, he helped you out.
Yeah, but it would be like me saying, okay, yeah, he helped me out this way. Let's say you go to the grocery store, you're the shopper, and I'm the guy working the grocery store, and you walk in and you say, sir, where are the artichokes? And I would say to you, okay, here's what you do. You go down this aisle, you go to the right, you go down this aisle. When you get to the end of this aisle, you make a left. And then when you go through the back of the store, and then when you go all the way through the back of the store, make another left, and you're going to come up that last aisle, and then you're going to, you know, and then you're going to make another left, and then when you go almost to the end of that, you know, along the last left you make, the artichokes are right there, and you go, okay, fine. And you take his advice, and you go down the one aisle, and you make a left, and you go down the back of the store, and you make a left, and you go down the other aisle and make a left, and then you end up back where you started, and the guy says, oh, the artichokes are right behind me. Get what I'm saying? It's sort of like, if you, right?
That's actually something that is cute.
Well,
but I wouldn't be at the store buying artichokes because I don't shop at
get what I'm saying? I mean,
food places. Yes, I get your point.
When I walked in the door, he could have said, well, we got these 300 sheets.
Maybe he didn't know.
He knew all along. He knew all along because he was holding it behind him.
You don't know that. Don't be judging him. You don't know that.
Shelley.
He could have went over and being the proactive customer service rep that he is.
He
sent you back there and then went to his manager and said, this guy, he's looking for just 1 ream of paper. I sent him back there because we've got this and this. Do we have anything cheaper that he can get that? And his manager probably told him, yeah, it's right over there.
I got
it's
a feeling,
on an end cap.
I think
just go ahead and do that.
Not the way it happened. Not the way he knew.
I didn't say it to happen that way. Maybe that's what he was doing.
He knew darn well that. But see, the thing about it is, most people who aren't stubborn butts like me are going to say, okay, I'll buy 2 reams for $12. But I'm going like, and here's part of the reason. Okay, I shouldn't say this, but I go to a Micro Center. Okay. And when you walk in the door at Micro Center, there's always like this big stack of paper, there must be, like 2 pallets of it, and it's $1.99. So I'm going like, okay, I haven't been to Micro Center. So that's why I ran out of paper, because I haven't been to Micro Center in a while. Because I'm going like, okay, next time I'm at Micro Center, I'll pick up a couple more reams. Because, I can buy 2 reams at Micro Center for $4.
Does that mean you're going to get me some more paper too?
No. No. Here's what I'm going to do. If you say, Brad, can you get me some paper? I go, well, Shelley, I don't have any paper. And I'm going to be holding something behind my back. And I said, but if you drive down this street and you make a left and you turn around in this cul-de-sac and you drive back over here and then you come back here and I'm standing here, I'll have paper for you.
I can see you doing that too.
The weather's top of mind, Toma, top of mind awareness this morning. We have a sponsorship announcement, and then we have our very own meteorologist, and her name is?
Jennifer Wojcicki.
She's up after this.
Hi, this is Wentzville Fire Chief John Schneider. It is
Westplex 107.1. One word describes Shelley. Delicate.
Yeah, I'm a delicate flower, Brad. I am a delicate flower.
Yeah, all right. This is BS in the morning, and this is the Brad and Shelley show. She's Brad, I'm Shelley. You can check out our website at bsinthemorning.show. Weather's still a factor. We're still under and I just checked a minute. It's not a warning, but it's a flash flood watch until tomorrow morning sometime. Originally, they said it was going to be 11. Now they moved it back to 6 in the morning. So I think they're saying that most of the rain should be out of here probably sometime overnight. And tomorrow's going to be relatively warm, just like it is. It's warm out there right now. Man, have you been outside yet? It's really nice. I mean, if it wasn't for the rain, it would be really nice.
Outside yet, no.
It's 54 right now. 54. It's supposed to be 61 today. And tomorrow, the high's going to be 42.
Yeah, but aren't we supposed to have snow tomorrow?
Yeah, but who knows what's going to happen with that? You know what tomorrow night is? I haven't been in a bunch of years. It's the Supercross, the motorcycle races down at the Dome.
I heard that.
Yeah, early this year.
Are you going to go?
I don't know. I haven't been in years. I used to take my son all the time. He used to really like it. I mean,
take your other son and go.
Oh, he won't go.
Did you ask him?
Oh, I know he won't. He's like, I don't want to do that. He's not into that kind of stuff. Once again,
he may want to spend time with his dad.
No. 4 kids, same mom, same dad, all totally different. You know what's sort of interesting? And I got to ask you, this is a weird question for you, Shelley, okay?
No, you never ask me weird questions.
When I tell people that I have 4 kids, a lot of times they're surprised. Why is that? Do I not look like the father kind of type?
I don't know.
I've had people go, "You've got 4 kids?" I'm like, you're from another planet? You're a Martian? I'm like, yeah, I have 4 kids,
I don't know. I honestly don't know. It was never an issue that you had 4 children with me.
I didn't have 4 children with you. I had 4 children with another woman. But
I knew that. That's not what I meant.
Yes, 4 children weren't with you. Thank God.
Oh my goodness.
No, but I find that interesting, and maybe it's to the point where, we talked about this the other day that a lot of countries, a lot of first world countries, the supposedly sophisticated countries have a negative birth rate, and the third world countries have a positive birth rate, and a lot of it has to do with with a whole generation now. It used to be in my generation, you got married in your early 20s, you had kids, and by the time you were, 45, you had grandkids, that kind of thing. And, now you got to the point where, you have kids that, a lot of them don't get married till they're like in their 30s, if they do get married at all. So many people live together, I mean,
yeah.
Remember that? I mean, God, I can remember in my life when you go like, oh, they're living together. It's like, oh, what?
It was a faux pas. That is true.
They're under the same roof and they're not married. How can that be? Call in the cultural police and have them arrested. That's not right.
I went through that generation as well.
How things change. Who cares anymore? It's like, and me personally, who, Mr. Reverend, I've done what, 5 or 6 weddings or something like that. And I think except for one, every one of them I did already had kids. And it wasn't like a second marriage. It was first marriage. Because I remember the one wedding I did, the boy was the ring bearer, and the girl was like the flower girl or whatever like that, And I'm going, okay, I guess we do things backwards now. You have kids and you get married, right?
Well, you don't necessarily want to stay together for the kids, so I really don't see a problem with that.
Okay, Shelley has spoken. That's the way it'll be. 7:00. Westplex 107.1, Panic at the Disco, morning to you, 7:08. It is a Friday morning. A flash flood watch is in effect until tomorrow morning. Rain. Started last night. It's going to rain all through today and into tomorrow. Hopefully by noon it should be out of here. Shelley is high and dry. She doesn't worry about that. She's actually broadcasting from the top of the tower this morning.
I am.
Okay.
My ivory tower.
everybody needs someone who can give them the right advice in their life, And I think most people have that person, And sometimes it's multiple people. If you, want to, if you have an issue with your car, most people have somebody they can call. Hey, my car's doing this, clunk, clunk, clunk when I make a left turn. Oh, I know what that is. That kind of a deal. And
I know what you're going to say.
There are experts at things, and to the point where, sometimes I'll reach out to one of those experts and I'll say, I need some help. And recently, I reached out to an expert who knows everything. And to the point where I'm having some frustrations. I talked about it earlier this week that it sounds weird. Sounds like I'm spending nothing but time at the DOR, the license bureaus, which lately I am spending too much time at the license bureaus. But I'm trying to get bunch of vehicles, the station vehicles moved around and, relicensed and new plates and stuff like that. So I've told the stories about one day I was like at 4 different license bureaus and couldn't get something done. So this expert told me, she said to me, hey, the Wentzville License Bureau, there's never anybody in the place. You can go in there and it's empty. And you can be in and out. I mean, you can be in and out faster than you can drive through the drive-through at White Castle. I'm going, really? I go, oh, yeah. You walk in, there's 5 people waiting to wait on you. I mean, they're just, hey, come on. No, come to my table. No, come over here. No, I'll take care of you. They're like, they're like wanting. They almost grab you by the shoulder and no, I'll take care of you. I said,
okay.
Wow, this sounds great.
Okay.
Where is this
Keep
place?
Going.
So this expert gives me directions, and I get there, and I can't find a parking space. I'm thinking to myself, well, these people must be at another business because they're not at the Wentzville License Bureau, because the expert told me that nobody is ever there. So I go in the door.
Every time I have gone there, they have not. There's been nobody there.
So I go in the door, and all I can say is that if John Schneider, the chief of the Wentzville Fire Protection District, would have walked in there, he would have shut them down for exceeding their occupancy limit. You know what I'm saying? You know how they get those signs that says occupancy limit?
Yeah.
They were like, people were in there, stuffed in there. I mean, there were people sitting
like a stuffed olive.
Oh my God! It was to the point where I'm thinking to myself, I hope they got the ventilation fans on, because I don't think there's enough oxygen in this room for all these people to breathe.
Whatever, Brad.
And I thought to myself,
it was bad, but it wasn't that bad.
And I thought to myself, now, who was this expert that told me that there's never anybody at the Wentzville License Bureau? And I literally walked in, looked around, and in my mind, I thought to myself, I'll never take advice from Shelley again. And I walked out.
It doesn't help that you went on the lunch hour. I bet you
didn't go on
by
the lunch
2,
hour.
That place was evacuated.
I went, Shelley, it was 11 o'clock. I mean,
Which is people's lunch hour. They go on the lunch hour. They go to the DMV.
Okay.
Not everybody's got the luxury
the lunch
of
hour.
being able to go where they want to go and do what they want to do because they're the boss.
The lunch hour is like noon to 1. 11 o'clock
That's not true.
Well,
if that was the case, then restaurants wouldn't open up at 11.
Yeah, but most restaurants, that's the idea of going to a restaurant at 11, because there's not that many people there. It doesn't get busy till
exactly, which is the reason why.
Okay, so if
11 is the lunch hour, 11 to 1.
Yeah, right. If I would have gotten there at 3 o'clock, you said, well, everybody's there because it's time for dinner. Yeah, dinner in Florida with all the retirement homes.
No, what I would have said was everybody was there because the teachers have been excused for the day because we're going to get rain, and the kids in the school district have been let go early.
Are you making that up, or is that for real? Now we're letting the kids out early because it's raining? Come on. God, we're just nurturing a generation of pansies, aren't we? Oh, it's cold.
Yeah, they'll never have DEET. to run back. The foggers, they'll never have that experience.
To run behind the mosquito machines, right?
Yes, they will
breathing
never
that
have that
stuff
experience.
coming out of the back, or drive around and and like if you've got like a 4-door sedan, to have your kid fall asleep on the rear deck above the rear seat, with no seatbelt on, or
Exactly.
or drive down the street with no bike helmet, or in shorts and no shirt. I mean, it's like
Exactly. Or
Yeah.
skateboard.
Right,
or
skateboard with no knee pads or elbow pads or helmet, stuff like that. Yeah, what
They
the
will
heck?
never experience that.
Yeah, you're right. Right. Well, Shelley, thanks for the great advice yesterday. It was like,
Brad, you are so welcome. Oh, invite me.
it was like, I'm thinking to myself, this is actually funny because every time, this Wentzville License Bureau, it's always empty. Right, except when I go there. But and the crazy thing was,
It was a coup.
I went
Just
to-
so you know, I called up all my friends,
yeah,
and they are vast. And I was like, okay, so here's the deal. My boss is going to go to the License Bureau in Wentzville. Could you all do a drive-by and kind of sit and park your cars there and kind of go in and kind of stand around? He'll be there at about 11.
I think that's what's
So
the case.
he won't stay very long because then he'll be inconvenienced. But could you do that for me? Could you do the sister a solid?
I do
And
believe
they did.
I do believe that's what happened. Now, here's what I'm doing though. Then I went to the other license bureau, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this to help people out, and I'm going to rating system. You know how they got like Rotten Tomatoes, you rate movies and things like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to come up with, and maybe if I get a graphic artist to do this for me, I'm going to come up with like a face that looks like somebody's not happy. Sort of like a grumpy face. Maybe is there an emoji for like grumpy face? Is there a grumpy
Yes.
face emoji?
Yes, there
okay.
is.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to all the license bureaus and I'm going to rate them with grumpies. So like if you have like
You're going to.
yeah, so
Okay, yeah, that's mature.
So if it's like the real grumpy license bureau, you get 5 grumpies, and if they're sort of friendly, you'll give them maybe 2. If they're semi-friendly, you'll give them 1, and if they're friendly, you must not be in the license bureau. You must be like somewhere else, because I mean it's to the point where it's like, can they get anybody with worse customer service than the people that work at the DORs?
Just because they, never mind. I don't know
I'm
what I was
telling
going
you.
to say. I was there and it was gone.
I'm getting all my license plates in the same month, and I'm working on that. Literally, I'm working on getting all my
Yes,
license
you
plates
are. You are
in the same
doing,
month. And
you are making an effort for
right,
sure.
and I'm going to drive down to Jefferson City, go to the Truman Building, walk in, and with like 14 vehicles, be in and out in 10 minutes. And the lady is nice to me, and she kids around with me. I'm going like, that's where I'm going. Not going to local places. And it's always crazy because there's always the little things on the counter saying, how would you rate our experience? But I'm going to rate them with the grumpies. You think?
Oh, you could actually have somebody. Well, you can probably get those at Party City or something where they have. You know how the teachers used to have stars. Whenever you were good, you got a star.
Oh, yeah. You get a gold star, stuff like that. Yeah, they'd stick it on your paper. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I'm sure they have those about the same thing with emojis.
Right. And the interesting thing was, once again, when I go to the second license bureau, which, by the way, when I walked in and I grabbed the number, and as soon as I grabbed the number, the lady called it, so I didn't wait at all at that one. And I wasn't in Wentzville, Shelley. But that gal, I mean, to the point where I was there like 15 minutes because everything I gave her, she disappeared into the back room. I'm going like, okay, are they checking to make sure I don't have any arrest warrants? Is there like a cop going to come out and arrest me or something like that? And at one point in time, she takes my driver's license. And once again, here we go again, talking about voting, okay? I'm trying to renew license plates, and I have to show a driver's license. And I'm going like,
Have you gotten your real ID yet?
No, but the point I'm trying to make is,
I'm sorry.
that you have these people. I heard somebody the other day. It's terrible that Missouri's got this thing where you have to have a driver's license to vote. I'm thinking to myself, okay, unless you're like somebody who lives in a cave, Why don't you have a picture ID? And you hear people talk, well, not everybody has a picture ID. Okay, then you
Not
must be.
everybody has a driver's license, Brad.
Yeah, but you can get a picture ID for free. They don't
I know,
charge
that's
you
the
for
real
that.
ID, is it not?
No, you can get, I've got both. And the craziest things, it's called a non-driver's license. Don't ask me
that's
why I have
because you
both.
have a CCW.
I used to have a CCW, and that's the way it was. And I do, but it's the old way of doing it before they changed it. But you can go into
Which I think was a mistake,
You
but
can
that's
go
just
in
me.
and you can get a non-driver's license, a state ID for nothing. It doesn't cost you anything. And nowadays it's to the point where like, okay, here these people go like, well, I don't have a picture ID. So you don't travel ever? You don't get given a plane? Well, I do. Well, then how do you get in a plane? Well, the idea being is they've got one. They just don't want to admit it. Because
It's probably an ugly picture.
Well-
Do you remember when that girl she actually sued because of her religion of being a pastafarian? Do you remember that?
Yeah, she had the pasta.
And she had her
pasta
picture
screen.
taken with a colander on her head.
Right. Well, but think about that. I mean, when you think about it, as a comic or as a satirist, I mean, that is sort of funny. And I'm not making fun of people's religions, but when you think about it, religions are weird. I mean, even like mainstream religions. I mean, and I'm not making fun of people. I'm saying, you go to Catholic church and you drink the wine and you eat the wafer, and the wine is what? Jesus' blood, and the wafer is his body. It's like, okay, now hold on a minute. Now, so you're drinking somebody's blood and you're eating somebody's body? Weird. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not, once again, think about that for a minute. If I said to somebody, hey, come on over to, my office, but you know what? First off, you have to get this resistor, which is from our transmitter, and you have to lick it, and then you have to come over here, and you have to sit on this stool, and because of the fact that, like, you have to rotate around like our antenna 3 times, and then you can go on the air. People go, hey, sorry, not doing anything with you. You're a weirdo, right?
Okay, so I think that we need to move this conversation along.
720. Westplex 107.1. Sam Smith, Calvin Harris. Promises. 723. It is Friday morning. It is I was going to say it's the first Friday of the year, but no, it's not. It's the second Friday of the year because we had a Friday last week, which was the second day of the new year, which was a week ago Friday. Does that make sense? I guess. Something like that.
It does.
Okay. Have you seen the big controversy with Prince Harry and... I don't know if she's a princess, Meghan Markle. You know what's going on over there in England? Man, the English people are not happy about this.
Yeah, they're separating their time between the U.S. and between England.
Well, but they're essentially saying they're not going to be royals anymore. But, what's interesting? You know who advised them on this?
Who? Camilla?
Oprah.
Really?
Yes, Oprah. The story today, Oprah is the one. Read the line. Oprah Winfrey advised Prince Harry and Meghan Markle about breaking free from the British royals and following their own paths. The TV queen, who attended the couple's wedding and is also close to Meghan's mom, Doria Ragland, discussed their, quote, declaration of independence, unquote, and encouraged them to consider making a living in North America by building their own powerful brand. Wait to hear this, okay? Here's the best part. Harry and Meghan have trademarked Sussex Royal as a brand on more than 100 properties in the UK, including clothing, stationery, photographs, educational, and charitable endeavors, with projected revenue of over $500 million. They're going to use their royal background, Royal Sussex, as their trademark, and they're going to make clothes and stationery and stuff like that. And get this, they've garnered a cadre of powerful U.S. players, including the Obamas, George and Amal Clooney, Serena Williams, James Corden, and Meghan's designer pal, Misha Nono. And help me on this. The name is spelled Nonoo. Is that Nono or is that Nonu?
N-O-N. Hold on, let me write that down.
N-O-N-O-O.
N-O.
N-O-O. So like no and no, but with a second.
Oh, it's like Nanu.
Nanu? Nuno?
Like Nanu.
Like the old
Mork and Mindy?
Nanu. What was it? Was when Robin Williams did?
Yes, Mork and Mindy.
Mork and Mindy. Nanu. Yeah.
I think it's Nanu, by the way.
And Meghan's designer pal, whose new husband, oil heir Michael Hess, has offered them a place to stay in one of the family's 3 homes in the gated Malibu colony dubbed Billionaire's Beach. So, what a tough life. Okay, you marry a guy who's prince in England. You convince him to, hey, let's just throw off this royal stuff and let's just flat out make some money, and we'll have this trademark and we'll trademark, we'll brand all these things, Royal Sussex and Oprah. But see, now here's I'm the smartest man in the room. Okay, you know how I'm the smartest man in the room? Think about this for a minute. Okay, Oprah is going to get Meghan Markle over here. Okay, now the Prince Harry can't be involved in politics in the United States, or especially like as president or anything like that, because he's not a natural-born citizen of the United States. But Meghan is. So Oprah could be president, Meghan Markle could be vice president, or you could flip that around the other way around, and somehow you got to get Michelle Obama in there. Michelle Obama would be like Secretary of State or something like that, And I'm telling you, if maybe she's going to move him over here quick because of the fact that, imagine if all of a sudden tomorrow Oprah announced, hey, I'm going to run for president and my advisor is going to be Michelle Obama and my vice president's going to be Meghan Markle. I mean,
that actually would not be bad.
Oh, I mean, Trump would just have to just say, I'm done, throw in the towel. I'm done. Hey, good luck. It was
the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world,
right. It was,
Mr. President.
4 years was fun. Hey, don't, go ahead and impeach me. I'll just leave early. I mean, it's like, but I'm thinking to myself, okay, but here's the interesting thing about it. Like, the royals don't have enough money already. He's not super rich. I mean, he doesn't pay for anything. He lives in a castle, I mean, he's got people that drive him around, I mean, he doesn't own a car. He doesn't need a car because he's got limousines and stuff like that, that got their own private planes.
So if they're not going to be, do they have their own private planes because they're wealthy? Or do they have their own private planes because they're royals?
Both. In the case of the royals, it's both.
I mean,
if they're wealthy,
are they going to be cut off?
I don't know. Well, if they're making $500 million a year selling stuff with Royal Sussex, who cares? I mean, if you're, in your
that may not be enough for them. That might be chump change to them.
In your younger years, if you said to your mom, "Hey, Mom, I got a way I'm going to make $500 million a year," and your mom would say, "Well, I'm not going to give you your allowance every week," and you'd go like, "Hey, who cares? I'm making $500 million a year, right?"
Yes.
It would be like, somebody saying, hey, if you don't do this, I'm not going to give you, if you don't do what I say, I'm not going to give you $100 a week. Okay, fine. I'll make $10 million a week. Oh, okay.
Well,
that Oprah, and you watch it. Boy, those royals, the people over in England aren't happy with Oprah. When this comes out that she's the lady behind it, people are going to go, ooh.
I bet they're not.
Anymore. Oh, they're not.
Because those two are beloved.
Right. But they don't want to see, there's traditions. And most countries have that. We have our traditions.
Well, we're getting rid of all of our traditions.
No, we have our traditions. We have traditions that from now on, if you want to be president, you got to be orange. Simple as that.
That was funny.
It's 7:29. Westplex 107.1. I always like the end of that song. Jason Derulo, it's interesting because he always brands his songs where he always says his name in the song. Do you know that?
You've told me that.
Yeah, I always think that's interesting. And it used to be that, I think it was him, that the label he used to work for, the guy was owned by JR somebody or other, and it would be, he would say his name, Jason Derulo, and then there would be this guy coming and go, so JR, and that was in all the songs.
Okay.
Put your brain up. Shelley's going like, why do I care? I don't. Why does he talk about weird stuff like this?
That,
I don't.
I've never heard that before.
And Shelley's probably saying, Brad, it's bad weather. Give the weather. Well, we're going to have our meteorologist come on in just a minute and give the weather. But I will tell you this, that we're still under the flash flood watch, which will be in effect until tomorrow morning sometime. Looking at the weather, how many times do I look at the color radar weather and say to you, hey, Shelley, the storms are coming right up Interstate 44, and that's exactly where they are. They're literally, if you looked at on color radar weather right now, the storms are from just a little bit northeast of Springfield, right up 44. If you look at the storm track, they're coming right up 44, right across the St. Louis area, and we probably got, depending on how fast they're moving, I don't know, probably another 2-3 hours of this front. And then there's another one right behind it right now that's coming in through Kansas, and right now is in Kansas City. So, yeah, when they're saying possibly 2 to 4 inches by why it's all over. What started last night and goes through tonight into tomorrow morning. So we just have to stay high and dry, right?
High and dry.
High and dry. High and dry. So you're going to see politicians today? Is that what I understand?
No, it's a legislative lunch.
Well, isn't that what they're at the legislative lunch? Aren't there politicians there?
Uh-huh.
So let me rephrase my question. So you're going to see politicians today?
Oh, I didn't. I thought you said, so you're going to go politician today.
No, I said, are you going to see politicians today?
I am.
Yes. And who's on the lunch menu?
Don't know the answer to that question.
Why? Well, how do you?
I just want to go.
Is it Meghan Markle and Prince Harry?
It could be. I wish it was Oprah. I'd love to have a convo with her. My mom watched her every day, and she felt like Oprah was a friend to her.
So did I. I used to get home and cook dinner for my kids at 4:00, and I'd start dinner, and I'd sit there in the TV in the kitchen and watch Oprah.
And read Cosmopolitan magazine.
Oh, you got it. And
I kind of believe that about you, actually.
The one day, when I'm going like, oh, Oprah, give me one of those cars, and you get a car, and you get a car. I want one of those cars, Oprah, give me one of those, and she didn't do it. Most upset.
That's because you weren't in the studio.
Well, I thought she was going to do it, remotely too. Hey, and Brad, watching in your kitchen, feeding your kids, you get a car. Oh, thanks, Oprah. You don't think?
No, I don't think.
And what gratitude do I get for cooking for my kids? My daughter said to me about 2-3 years ago, I hated everything you made for us. Oh, excuse me.
My daughter to this day cannot eat cheesy hot dogs.
Because that's what you made, cheesy hot dogs?
Yeah, they had the cheese inside of them. I thought she loved them, and fish sticks and fries, and that's the extent that I cooked.
She didn't like any of that stuff? Well,
she liked the fish sticks and fries, but she did not like the cheesy hot dogs. She's like, I hated those.
I used to make pasta for my kids. I made hamburgers. I got to be really good at frozen pizzas. I'm telling you, I could. The matter of fact, the kids in the neighborhood would say, "Hey, Mr. Hildebrand, are you making frozen pizzas today?" Yeah, come on over. Kids, come in front door.
So you were the party house, were you?
But I'm thinking to myself.
I was the cool mom.
I'm thinking to myself.
I knew all the words to Ice
Here I
Ice
get
Baby.
home.
Thank you very much.
I cook for my kids, and what thanks do I get from my daughter? I hated everything you made.
I don't think you should take that personally. That's
what do you mean not take it personally? It's like okay. So would you rather not me make anything, and then you could have just gone door to door, knocked on doors? Hey, our parents won't feed us. Will you give us something? No. Instead, I fed them and watched Oprah.
Well, I'm sure Oprah was thankful.
Can I tell you one of my favorite Oprah episodes?
Oh, please.
When she had, you're going to laugh when I tell you this, but this is one of my favorite. I bet you can find it online and watch it now. When she had Cher and Tina Turner in like a singing competition.
Oh, I bet that
she
was
had
awesome.
them both
well, you
on
have
the
a thing
show.
For Tina anyway.
Oh, I always like Cher too. One of my favorite songs is "Believe."
I thought it was Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves. Oh no, that's me.
That's you. Boy, and Tina at the time. Tina's now officially retired, and she doesn't even live in the United States anymore. She lives in Switzerland. You know that? She moved.
Good for her.
Yeah, she's gone. She blew the country. She doesn't want to be here anymore. So, and Cher, I think, is on farewell tour number 3 or something like that. She's always going, "Hey, this is my last tour until the next last tour we do." Like one of those kind of things.
Yeah, there's several of the artists that are doing that.
Like Poison and
Elton John.
Yeah, well,
I would never say anything bad about Sir Elton, but This is his second farewell tour.
Oh man, I'll tell you what. It's like Bob Seger. You know,
But I saw him last year thanks to my
Yeah?
very dear friend Becky Miller Jacobs.
right? No plugs allowed.
And it was amazing.
Well, it's just like Bob Seger. Bob Seger's on farewell tour number 62. You know, it's to the point where and then what he does is he has like, oh, my back went out, and he cancels everybody, and then then like a year later, hey, my back's great, time for another farewell tour, and he goes on tour, and then his back goes out again. Oh, I'll be back next year, right?
Yes. So speaking of cars,
Yeah.
I want to talk about what happened to me yesterday.
Oh, next break. Okay, ready?
Okay.
7:44. Westplex 107.1. What Shelley isn't is human. She's a robot. 7:50.
Because I'm a unicorn.
Watch what you say there. You don't know the meaning of that. 7:51. It is BS in the morning. Rainy day. The flash flood the flash flood watch is in effect until the tomorrow morning. So just be prepared for that. And it's still raining. Shelley had an interesting experience yesterday.
I did.
She got ran off the road.
I did.
You did. Somebody came around a corner and they were in your lane and you dodged them?
They were. I was sitting there, and I mean, it's a really sharp corner. It's almost like a 45-degree angle or a 90-degree angle, which is a corner, right?
Hold on a minute. A sharp angle is a 45-degree angle is like not.
That's a partial. So
That's
it was
a
a
partial.
90-degree angle.
Right.
Okay, and it was a turn,
Yeah.
and I was coming up on it,
Yeah.
and this car was coming up on the other direction and made the turn, made it too wide, and almost was coming at me head on.
Oh, what kind of car was it?
I don't know.
Well, I mean,
it
was
was a bright-colored car.
A bright-colored car? Oh, that was
Yes.
Brian Richardson.
Okay, anyway, so I sat there and I was kind of freaked out, I'm not going to lie. So I turned my wheel real quick and ran up into somebody's front yard.
And you rutted up their front yard. You gave somebody a lawn job.
I did give him a lawn job. But do you know that car did not stop?
Of course not. Brian,
I would have stopped.
Once Brian runs you off the road, you think he's going to stop? Oh, Shelley, I'm sorry.
Okay, you need to stop that. I'm not lying.
Stop what? Well, you know it was
Whatever,
him,
Brad.
right? You know it was him.
Anyway, so
Because he has a tough time seeing over the dashboard.
okay, you really need to stop. Anyway, this is about me. Thank you very much. And I actually went up to the people's house and went to the front door, and because I was going to tell them that what had happened, but they wouldn't answer the door. So I got a piece of paper and wrote a note and left it on their truck
Did you hear
with
from
my
him?
phone number, but they haven't called me.
Huh. Did you call the police?
You know what? I did not do that.
What municipality was this in?
I don't know if it was Wentzville or Forestell. I don't know where I was at.
Really? I mean, I've had that problem too. Like on Saturday morning, I went, where am I?
No, it's because they're so close together.
Oh, okay. It's so close together. It's like, it wasn't like you woke up like in a stupor, like, oh, what day is it?
No, I
Where
don't
am
do that.
You don't do that? No. Okay. So do you think Brian will call you and apologize?
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, I was very scared, and it took me a few minutes to kind of like reset myself.
Right.
Because they literally were coming on me head first.
Right.
And had I not swerved, they would have hit Precious.
Wow. We can't have
And then
that.
I would
can
have
we?
really been mad.
We can't have that. Can't have Precious being
No.
mangled, right? Oh my God. No. Can't have that.
My baby's finally paid off. Absolutely not.
Wow. Well, now you're going to wreck it.
Take that back twice. You can't put that kind of stuff into
That's
the
what
universe.
happens. You pay off a car, and the next day it's wrecked.
No, that's not true.
That's what
So
happened to
take
me
that back.
when I ended up getting cut out of my car. I owned that car outright. If I would have been making
Yeah,
payments on it,
I know.
it never would have happened. But since I owned it outright, gone. You know what? By the way, that's one of my New Year's resolutions.
And what's that?
I am going to get that car. That my car that got totaled, got hit by the tractor trailer. It still runs. You can get in and start it up. The battery's dead right now. But you can get in and start right up. But the rear wheel's all bent out of shape. I mean, it's the whole frame's bent and the whole bit. I found my regulator set for my torches, and I'm gonna get an oxy and acetylene tank, and I'm gonna bend everything back, and I'm going to cut off all the bad body parts, and I'm going to take that down to the transmitter side, and I'm going to race it. And I'm going to build myself a couple of ramps. And one of my goals has been, ever since I watched, Dukes of Hazzard, I'm going to get some air in my car. I'm going to build a ramp up, and I'm going to, go up over the ramp, and I'm going to be airborne. And you're going to be there taking video of it.
I would do that.
The only problem I got to figure out is how to keep the driver's door shut, because when the police or when the fire department cut the door
they
open,
use the jaws of life.
the door doesn't close anymore. So maybe what I'll do is I'll just take a rope and I'll just tie it shut. What do you think?
Or duct tape. That always works. I know how much you love duct tape.
And I have to get my utility knife out and cut all the airbags out so I can see out the windows, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So
that is true. You were, all kidding aside, you're lucky to be here today.
You don't think that's a good New Year's resolution?
I do.
To get some air in the car,
Out with the old and with the new.
Yeah, build a ramp and fly up. Matter of fact, what I'll do is I'll fly up.
Which transmitter site?
The AM one, the crap side. I'll fly up. Here's what I'll do. I'll fly up the side of the hill where the trailer's on, and I'll just do about 80, 90 miles an hour, and we'll see how far I go in the air. What do you think?
I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I bet you don't.
And I will be there taking video. Facebook Live.
Oh, right. That's my goal. So, yeah, I just got to.
It's good to have goals and aspirations, Brad.
I got it.
It's a new decade.
Yeah, I got to bend. I got to bend out all that rear stuff in the back.
Brad.
It's all broke. The trunk. Did you ever showed you the trunk?
There is no trunk.
Oh, no, the trunk's there. The trunk lid's done. The trunk lid's just laying on the back of the car because when it got crunched, I couldn't get the trunk open. The trunk got jammed shut. So I had to go in with my Sawzall and I had to cut the hinges out. So that trunk is just literally, the trunk lid is just literally laying on the back of the car. If you can just pick it off. If you want to open the trunk, you just pick up the whole trunk lid and you just take it off.
I'm just going to have to try that.
It's a convertible trunk, Aren't too many people can say they got a convertible trunk.
That is true.
It's me. 7:57. Well, that's going to do it for us. BS in the Morning is done for, 72 hours? We'll be back in
stick a fork in us. We're done.
24 would be tomorrow morning. 48 would be Sunday morning. Yes, or 72 hours. We're done for 72 hours, right?
And we'll be back on Monday, fresh and ready to face a brand new week.
Speak for yourself.
A brand new month of a brand new decade.
I'm never fresh and ready.
I am. Of course, I get up at 3, but that's a whole other story.
That's different. Okay, so it is time for Shelley to introduce.
The most important man in St. Charles steps up to the microphone and says,